Let us canvass the public opinion in this highly representative audience. The very fact of coming over here indicates that there may be a certain bias in the public opinion. Some people tend to overbelieve it and overconfident, etc. Would you please raise your hands, those who would like, starting next year or in 2 or 3 years, to work at Skolkovo? Would you like your company to work at Skolkovo 2 or 3 years from now? Who wouldn't like that? Who is skeptical about it? Yes. Any of those, any person who believes nothing will ever happen? Well, it is quite clear that some people do want the project, some don't, and there is a category of individuals here who don't know which part to join. Yes, raising one's hand entails responsibility, and some people are not prepared for that at this point. But on a serious note, today, as of today, we have not firmed up all the elements, all the essential elements of the project. We believe the entity we're putting together, the structure we're putting together, the managerial council, the scientific research council, etc., they will firm up the major elements of the project, and we believe a few months from now we will have better ideas. But each project has its own logic, which it will pick up at some point. I would like to see criticism. I would like to hear criticism. Mr. Fashion, his company has a lot of experience of implementing projects, and TECHNOPOLIS in France is their claim to fame. Good morning. Indeed, the first 20 years of my life I dedicated to a project. It's called TECHNOPOLIS, and it's near Nice in southern France, and it was a good project, although the world has changed considerably, and replicate such projects is not the thing to do, maybe even dangerous. What I would like to say here, I think it's extremely positive that Russia today and the Russian leadership today concern themselves finally, eventually, with these issues. I came here in '91, 20 years back, and the first conference dedicated to these subjects in the Baltiska Hotel, I saw the beginning of a new Russia, and that this topic has emerged again to the agenda is very, very positive. Another item of importance is time. The biggest danger lies in expecting any results 2 years from now. It took 75 years to the Silicon Valley to have come up with anything meaningful. We need to think in terms of 20, 30, 40 years. Of course, there are phases to check the status, etc., etc. Let me also draw your attention to the role of culture. Culture to create a certain amount of environment, new environment. Culture as a form of competition. Barcelona, Bavaria, other places are competing to become locations for such efforts, and culture is of great importance. I wouldn't like anyone to ignore or neglect that issue. The city of Bilbao has changed its profile with the opening of a new museum. I think we need to look at the potential cultural aspects of the project, which are essential for its further development. Thank you, Dominic. I think we have a chance of really succeeding. As a moderator, I'm not expected to come out with my personal views, but I am a participant in the process. By selecting Skolkovo, we had a feeling that we have a chance right there at Skolkovo. It began to acquire new forms of life, as it were, when we had a new concept for the business school there. If we hadn't had it, we would not have selected Skolkovo. We have a business school there, it's a new business school, and it functions well. Of course, it's a long debate, but we have decided to commence the process. The first company that has announced its intention to work there is Nokia. Nokia came out 2 weeks ago at a meeting with the President of the Russian Federation to say they would be there. We have the ex-Prime Minister of Finland, who currently works for Nokia. Has Nokia thought out well all the pitfalls and what have you? Are you going to use the model that we are discussing here? Is your center in Skolkovo seen as something that will be a center of all your research efforts all over Russia?
Actually, I'm going to use my two hats, former Prime Minister hat and Nokia hat, when answering to your question, because I think it's very important to understand why Europe was so successful in mobile telecommunication in 1990s and let's say until now. It was not poor coincidence. We had good assets to do that. We had talents thanks to educational system. We had made a lot of R&D investments in Europe. Market was here because we were able to liberalize telecom market rather early, roughly in the same time as the US. And finally, we had joint European standard. GSM standard was adopted in Copenhagen 1987. So we were able to create sufficient ecosystem in Europe to become world leader in this business. The fact is that, or the question is, do we have today world-class ecosystem in Europe to move to the next wave of that revolution, which is more or less content-driven, digital content-driven? And my answer is that we are not. It's not only about Russia or about the European Union, about Finland, but as well companies operating in Europe. And that's why that agenda, transformation agenda you have created, and our own transformation agenda at Nokia are very closely connected. That was the reason why we started to look carefully what Skolkovo is able to offer for us. Because we believe that Russia can play a major role in creating good ecosystem for software development and content development in the future. And our idea is that this center is going to be home for our efforts in Russia. I really like what Barrett said in the opening session. It's not only a question of Moscow and Skolkovo, but it's a question of whole Russia, its universities, its capacity. And we believe that this is going to be like a showroom, and Nokia would like to be there, showing its interest to be integrated into the transformation of Nokia. Finally, I read a couple of years ago a nice article written by one American politician. It was Romney, I think. He was candidate for president a couple of years ago. And he analyzed what to do with the car industry in the US. Should government support or not? He said that no direct support, but R&D spending is what government should support. And he said that cutting R&D spending is like eating seed corn. I think this is a very good illustration. Now, as far as Russia is concerned and this Skolkovo is concerned, I think this is like growing seed corn. And you have to be patient. This is not going to give you transformation overnight. It's going to take time, but I'm fully confident that companies present here are ready to share that patience with you and to have this long-term perspective.
Thank you, Eska.